Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rambling Through Everyday Life with Fran and Angela. My name is Fran and I am one of the co-hosts for this show. In this week's conversation, we start off typical rambling fashion, and then I spend a few minutes talking about my short-term mission trip called a Go Trip through Union University, where I led some college students to Clarkston, Georgia, where we served refugee families. So as always, thank you for listening. We appreciate you so much. Enjoy the show. Okay, welcome to the show, everybody. Such a fun conversation. Last week's episode with the amazing Grace Valentine, talking about her new book, The Better Friend. If you have not ordered it, order it, read it, give it away. It is really... it is not age specific. This is a book. Yeah, she tends to write and speak to students, but this is for every age. And so we are so thankful for her and her friendship, and we will support her all the days, forever and ever and ever. So go get that book. Thank you, Grace Valentine. We love you so much.
Oh gosh, that's the primer that we all needed forever ago on friendship. And the funny story that I talked about after we finished our recording is how, I don't think I've said it on the podcast, but you were talking to Dr. Dub, and then y'all walked over to where I was, and the conversation's happening, and you just simultaneously hand me a book that's about being a better friend.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, hang on, his friend trying to tell me something?
No.
Well, I have a lot to learn. Grace Valentine taught me a plenty, but it was just so funny because I was like, oh, well, thanks, Fran. I'll work on that.
It also goes to show you context is important.
Context.
Like, here, Angela, here's a book from Grace Valentine that we're going to be talking about.
Be better.
I mean, you know.
Be better, Angela.
Come on. I could have done better.
No, it was perfect. But Grace is just so lovely, but also so real.
Yeah.
Like she
and
just
wise.
goes there.
Yeah, she's wise.
And then as soon as you think you've got her, pegged one kind of way, she's got so much depth to her for such a young age, and also so much fun. Like we could go on and on. But yes, get the book.
I know.
Get the book. Okay. March.
So it's the middle of March. What? We're still in March, right?
We are in March.
We've changed our clocks, everybody.
We have changed.
Praise the Lord. We've got extra daylight at the end of the day.
Actually, this releases on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
Which is the
Wear
anniversary.
Your green.
Well,
are y'all wearing green?
Yes. And when we were little, you're wearing green today.
Oh. Didn't mean to.
Didn't even mean to. When we were little, if somebody pinched you, you'd say, I have on green underwear.
I know.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah. I thought that was so funny.
It was so funny. It's also the anniversary of my dad's death.
I remember that.
Is sweet, but he would love, and I've said this before, but he would love to know there was a national holiday.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like, I don't want to take over Thanksgiving or Christmas. Right. Like it's a fun.
Right.
The green beer holiday would have been perfect.
Okay. Let me ask the dumbest question in all the world.
Okay.
Is St. Patrick's Day always March 17th?
Yes.
Okay, so that's always true.
You
know, there are some...
Thanksgiving's like the fourth Thursday.
I know. It's hard to keep up with it all.
Easter's late this year.
I know. We had a conversation this past week. We were laughing about different things, and we were talking about these holidays. And I said, Easter needs to have its set date.
Yes.
And so we had to Google who determines Easter. And
who does determine it?
It has to do with the moon.
Like
and
the equinox.
Yes. And nobody even knows what any of that means.
What is an equinox? We're not going there.
No, we're not.
We're not that deep.
But I do think that Easter needs to be like Sunday, April the 5th or whatever.
This year it's on Catherine Hardy's, my sister Catherine's birthday, April 20th.
It's the end of the month.
The end of April.
Yeah.
It's basically summertime. It's like Easter and then Memorial Day.
And then like we have Easter and then we have exams right after that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of weird too.
And we got graduations coming up. I've been in total denial that Kaylee Snyder's a graduate. I was looking at graduation dresses online, and then I still forget, oh wait, that means this is actually happening. Yeah. Not just we get to put on a fun dress and go back to Birmingham.
Right.
Okay, so y'all, this is going to be wild and interesting.
Wild and wacky.
And also spiritual.
Okay. That's what we do.
We have some depth coming for you too. So along the way, now and again, Fran will say, hey, add this to the outline and I'll know what it means.
Okay, tell me, because I've already forgotten. This is why I do this.
Before I do that, let me also say sometimes I put things in the outline And almost immediately, I'm like, is this cringe or is this funny?
We'll make it funny.
I thought this was funny, but
Okay.
now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, should I?
Well,
Maybe. Okay.
We'll see.
Now I'm back to thinking it's funny again.
Oh, I can make it funny.
And I think middle age and the fact that, let me say this. I had my checkup. You know, I went for my mammogram, my checkup. My vitamin D was really, really low.
Are you not taking the vitamin D and K supplements?
Not consistently.
Okay.
So I'm in the bad category.
Okay.
Like where you get demerits. I had to get prescribed a $6 weekly vitamin D pill.
Well, you've got to take that too, Angela.
Which also, I know, and I will, remind me. But also it makes me feel like my upcoming trip to Florida is medically necessary now. And
well, whoever they are. You know, I love to say that. They say, I don't even know who they are.
It's like the royal we. Whoever they are.
They say that. Now, of course, all the dermatologists would flip their lid, but they say that to maintain appropriate healthy vitamin D levels, you should be outside with no sunscreen on for a minimum of 10 minutes and let the vitamin D do whatever it does gets inside your skin.
Well, here's my current dilemma. And if you're listening and you can fix this, or Fran might be able to fix it. And then we're coming back to the thing that might be cringeworthy. But when I put on my moisturizer that also contains sunscreen,
right,
if it's
I know.
anywhere close to my eyes or my forehead, it burns my eyes.
Your forehead? Even on your forehead?
Even my forehead, it's like it seeps down.
What do you use?
I don't know what it's called. I've tried several things.
I'm telling you the best that I absolutely love. And I'm about to butcher it because it's
That's okay.
It's a French name, I think.
Ooh.
Or Italian.
Okay. This is a good segue for my cringe-worthy segment.
Like La Roche.
Yes.
That brand.
And now they have that over the counter at drugstores.
Oh, yeah, I get it at Ulta. And you get it at Target.
And it won't burn. That's where I saw it. It won't burn my eyes. I'm going to Target to pick up my vitamin D prescription.
I use their serum and something else and that moisturizer.
Okay. Well.
So however you say La Roche-Posay.
Ooh la la. Okay, that is the perfect segue into this. Okay. Is it cringy or not?
Okay. This is
and
great.
being perimenopausal and being brain dead.
Okay.
Sometimes. Okay. If you can't think of a word.
Oh, I've got something to add to this, and you hadn't even said the whole sentence.
If you can't think of a word, and this is one of those I want to be like, I'm going to try this week and see if I can just naturally do this. If you can't think of a word, say, I forget the English word for it.
Oh, okay.
That way people will think you're bilingual and not just getting old and forgetful. Do you think that will work?
No, this is what I do, and I'm going to show you that I'm still a 10-year-old.
Okay.
I know y'all are shocked by that statement.
Here comes the mature segment.
But no, oh no, this is awful. So this was also something, and we'll maybe get to a little bit of my Go Trip experience.
Absolutely, yes.
But I was on a mission trip with college girls, and there's nothing better than spending a week with college girls because I have truly never laughed so much at so many things. We just laughed more than we were probably serious and quiet and still. But anyway, I realized something, especially if you spend extended time with me, and I did it traveling. And then once somebody pointed it out, like traveling as like I'm driving, once somebody noticed this habit of mine and then pointed it out, I realized, oh, I do this a lot. And then it became so super funny.
Now I'm wondering what you do.
Okay. So what I do is if I don't know the word, okay, if I don't know the word, if I can't come up with it, then
I can't wait to hear.
Then I'll just give you a sound effect.
What?
So
I need an example.
Okay, so for example, like I was driving down the road and they were like, "Oh my God, you need to turn there," and I was like, "Oh, that way." We gotta go that way. Oh, and so I just would catch myself if I didn't know the word. I spoke in sound.
Okay.
So there's that, everybody.
I don't know as well as I've known you for a whole decade.
Well, just like here's what I do a lot. Like I'll go, murr, murr. Like, you know, I'll just make sounds instead of going, oh, drats, Angela, that's terrible. But I'll just go, murr, murr.
I've not noticed that. I love how you'll like sing my name instead of just say my name.
That's what started the
You make it a
whole
musical.
thing, is that somebody
Makes me
said,
happy.
you sing things, Miss Fran. And I said, yes, we can thank Avery Lopez for that.
Yes,
And
Avery.
I still do that. And so therefore that has carried over into other areas, such as Fran doesn't know the word, so let's make up a sound effect.
Or Fran can say, how do you say that in English? I forget the English word for that.
Yeah, if I really want to impress you, which
Okay.
is very rare. So,
Well, Fran, I need you to impress me again. Because you said, please add to your podcast notes something so funny to share.
oh gosh, okay.
Pressure's on, y'all.
Okay.
Is this going to be so funny? It will be. I'm just messing with you. Just reference it drive-through, and I will
crap.
know exactly what that means. Fran and I have not been around each other in over a week because of her trip and various things. So we've got a whole lot of pin-up things to talk about.
This
and
is so dumb. This is so dumb.
we're
but
here for it.
You're going to think it's so stupid and funny.
That's the glue that
And-
binds us.
And maybe, like, this is a compliment, but okay. So this happens every now and then. Every now and then, also, too, on this go trip, I was telling the girls 2 funny stories of how, like, when I ordered something, they got my name completely wrong.
oh.
So I always spell my name. Okay. They'll say, hi, can
How
I
do
get
you mess up Fran?
well, because it's just not a common name. But so I will do it anywhere all the time. Even Chick-fil-A, who's perfect. They say, hi, can I get a name for your order? And I'll say, yes, my name is Fran, Fran. That has come back in a variety of hysterical ways, which was the story that I was telling these girls. But Angela, this is what I have done. I have done this at least 5 times in the last couple of weeks. Okay. So
I've missed you. I'm so glad you're back.
So I'll go to the drive-thru and they say, yes, ma'am, can I get a name for your order? Yeah, my name's Angela.
No way. No way.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I say Angela. And so then they'll hand me my order and they'll go, thanks, Angela. And I'm like, you're so welcome. And I'm like, my name is so not Angela, but you're going to understand Angela.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, and if you had said between Fran and Angela, whose name is easier to say or retain?
Angela.
I would think Fran.
Oh, heavens
It's
no.
short and it's
Angela.
simple. People put an I in my Angelia.
Don't care.
Yeah, anyway.
So lots of times when I go to the drive-thru, they'll ask for a name. And even at Starbucks, I've said Angela.
Well, if you're going to do that, you have to use my rewards number and let me get the points.
And then I think they're going to run my debit card and they're going to be like, that doesn't match. I
Fran,
thought
and then we're going to say Fran and Angela.
uh-huh.
Angela and Fran.
My drive-through name is Fran. It's Angela. Sorry. My drive-through name is Angela.
Or who is it that came up with Frangela once upon
Somebody.
a time?
That would really throw them.
That would really throw them.
So there you go, everybody.
That's hysterical.
If you have a weird name too, and you
Yes.
struggle at the drive-through,
Just say Angela.
then just say Angela. That's what we'll all start doing now.
That is awesome.
Mhm.
I love that so much. Okay, so what do we want to do next? We've got to talk about your trip.
Well, I can talk about that super fast.
Well, no, we don't want to talk about
Well-
it super fast, but I do want y'all to know if you have forgotten about strawberry lemon water at Sonic, I've brought that back into my life along with
what is
vitamin D
that?
and sunshine. They give you a pump of strawberry that does have a little bit of sugar in it, but not a whole lot, and it's worth it. It's just water with lemon and a pump of strawberry, but they have the like actual strawberry fruit pieces.
Yeah.
It tastes like dessert. It's amazing. You get a Route 44 strawberry lemon water. It's like 30 calories or something low.
Well, my
amazing.
Awala bottle
That's
here.
a really cute water bottle.
I'm actually using it. We haven't talked about that in a while, but I'm actually drinking water now. So
I'm so proud of you.
listen.
And you're headed to the gym after this
Well,
podcast, which
you
you're
know,
good about doing that.
So in this water, I have the probiotic and the whatever.
The happy juice?
The happy juice. I have that, but I also have my collagen mixed in here.
Good job.
And it tastes really good.
Have you started creatine yet?
Yeah, I take listen, here's the weird thing about that too. Because sometimes Chip has it, like he buys it, and sometimes he has it in powder form, and then sometimes he has it in pill form.
And there's gummies. Cole has gummies.
Most of the time he's got it in powder form, which is harder for me to grab because that stays at home. And so I'm not as good. So I think I'm just going to have to get it on my own and not rely on him.
I got Mary Claire Haver, who we love. If you're anywhere 40 or over, find her, follow her, do what she says as far as supplements and stuff. But she has a fiber supplement.
Oh, yeah.
Have you tried? It came in today. It's supposed to taste good.
The powder?
I think it's orange.
Yeah. Here's the thing with that. It gets
real thick in a hurry.
It gets thick and clumpy, gumpy, so you have to
don't waste any time. Chug,
drink it, or if you have one of those, which I don't have, one of those, I'm about to do it, one of those things that I don't know what it's called.
Immersion. We learned it from KK. Immersion blender.
Yeah. Then use that.
I knew what you were talking about
because I'm doing a hand motion. I've got the whole. It's like charades over here.
We could win a game show. Fran could look at me and go, and I'd be like, immersion blender. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
I'm telling you, now that I've pointed it out, you're going to notice that there's some things that I just can't come up with a word for. So,
and I do want to.
Listen, we also came up with the thorn in our side. You know how Paul talks about the thorn in his side?
Well, yes.
So one of the girls on the trip said, this is what that sounds like. She goes, so anytime that you say the thorn in your side or you just can't come up with it, just go, okay, carry on.
That's amazing. Y'all are so fun. Well, okay, yeah, I want to hurry up and get over this and talk about that. But I also want to say just one more thing about us being healthy. Oikos has a vanilla bean Greek yogurt. Have you tried it? It has like 30 grams of protein, and the vanilla bean makes it taste almost like ice cream. Yeah. It's not like gross yogurt. It's
I'm
like really
weird
good.
About yogurt. Remember, it's a part of the milk family. And so I will buy that brand. Yes. The plain old vanilla, like in the black. It's in a black thing. Like, I'll buy that. But I've got to I need like granola on it or something. Well,
I do.
And it's also like, it's extra thick.
Well, you got to stir it.
Yeah. Here's what's totally disgusting. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When it's got just that little bit of like
the watery, that's the probiotic. You have to stir that. I know. Some people drain that, but that's the good stuff. You got to stir it all up.
I'll stir it up, but you just kind of go, ugh.
I know.
What is that?
But you eat cottage cheese, and I can't.
Listen, I love me some cottage cheese. And that's so bizarre.
I want to be able to,
I know.
But that really is a texture thing. But if you take that Oikos vanilla bean yogurt and add some strawberries and blueberries and a little bit of Ready Whip.
Well, that's what's in my little bowl that I get from Tropical Smoothie.
It's the best dessert in the whole wide world, but it's full of protein and goodness. And it's hard to be healthy and age well and balance your hormones and all the things.
It's just hard, period, everybody.
It's hard. So anything I'm finding, if I can do it, I'm like, literally anybody can do it. So anyway, those are
Where are you getting your strawberries? What are you talking about?
Well, Trinity just had a fundraiser.
I didn't do it because you know why? I felt like when I read the like to purchase them, in my mind, I read you can either have 100 flats of strawberries or 75. And I just went, nope, I don't want any of that.
Well, I'm not, I wasn't going to say this, but I'm just going to tell on them. You want me to tell on people in my house?
Yes.
So I'm not going to say who.
But his name is?
Well, there's two possibilities it
Carl
could be.
or Cole.
And they might potentially both be guilty. You remember in baseball, you make the call.
That's right.
Okay, so when we all met in Nashville after my seminar, my whole family met up. We had a grand old time. Well, the day before, I had to leave at 5:30, 6 a.m. to get to Nashville for an 8 o'clock. So the day before, I sent Cole to pick up the strawberries, bring them home. At some point in the day on Friday, I started thinking, I wonder if he knows to take those strawberries out of his truck.
Heck to the no, he didn't know.
And then I got busy learning all the things I'm learning. Didn't think anything else about it.
Oh, gosh.
Sunday, I come home.
They're still in his truck, aren't they?
They were not in his truck.
Oh, but they're outside on the counter. Or
they were outside on the counter.
Yeah.
And then someone in my household that will remain nameless but is older than me proceeded to make the argument for, well, just because some of those strawberries have things growing on them now, they're not all bad.
Okay.
So Angela said,
Okay.
I'm taking all these strawberries,
Yes.
counting it a donation to our school,
Dang.
and feeding them to the very grateful
Yeah.
swans and turkeys
Yes.
and ducks and chickens. So
That's
then,
tough, everyone.
Then I went to Kroger, and they had, I hate it when produce is from like Peru or somewhere, and you're like, what kind of crazy stuff is on here that might never get scrubbed clean because it's so far away.
Yeah, it takes a minute to get here. So how good
I
is
just
it?
think chemicals to keep it alive that long. But they were Florida strawberries.
Okay.
And when we went several years ago to the Florida Keys, we saw all those strawberry farms. And they're in season. So go to Kroger. And then pretty soon here locally we'll have them everywhere. But anyway, that was a very long response. Okay. But yeah.
I'm also
berries.
like, I don't like, it's so dumb, y'all. It's so dumb. I'm so ridiculous when it comes to stuff like it makes zero sense. It's honestly called LAZY is what it's called. So I would rather.
Or BUSY. You're also busy.
I'd rather get the yogurt and get granola than get the yogurt and buy strawberries that I've got to cut up.
They're so good for you, though.
I know. But that's why
antioxidants.
That's why I get that bowl from Tropical Smoothies because it's got all that stuff in it and I don't have to cut it up. Isn't that horrible?
No, it's like having your own chef.
Yeah, it just costs $10.
We may not have a glam squad, but we can have catering for. Okay. Also, so this releases on St. Patrick's Day, which means the night before this releases is the selection for the brackets. And even if you know nothing about basketball, print out a bracket, give one to your family. It's so much fun in my household. I tell them all the winner gets $100 and a date with me. Oh. And they're mildly excited, if at all. But it's so much fun. And then, sometimes the winner will be like, Kaylee liked their uniforms and their mascots, and she beat Cole, who did all the research on it. There's always something crazy that happens. That's why it's called madness.
Right.
And go Vols. My goodness, they've been so much fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, I cannot wait. We have not talked.
The good old Google
yes
projects the Duke Blue Devils to win.
Well,
so
go Vols. Go Vols. Okay, I want to hear every single, I don't know how much time we have left, but I want to take what's remaining.
We'll do a few minutes. I don't want to take up the whole time on the go trip.
I want to hear, because, okay, tell us where, and then when I first heard where you were going, that's not super far from here. I had no idea how diverse and how, just set all that up.
Okay, so this is the second year that I have led a go trip through Union University. We call our short-term mission trips go trips. And so I
go into the world.
So we had 4 trips out. Y'all hear us talk about Dr. Dub so much. He and 2 others led a team to Honduras, and they so they went to Honduras. One of our volleyball girls, Hope Harrington, she went to Italy. That was a trip. And then there was a trip up to the Northeast in Sudbury, Massachusetts. So they went and partnered with a church up there. And then I led a team.
Why did I think they were in London?
No, just kind of looks like it.
Sudbury sounded like they were somewhere British.
No, well, and it's near or where Harvard is. So it's very historical and beautiful and old. So
I would have sworn they were in England. No. Fascinating. Okay.
Continue. So they were there. And then this was the second time to lead a group of students to Clarkston, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta. And Clarkston has a population of, they are known for their refugees that live there. It is a refugee community. And most of the people are from Afghanistan, Syria, Jordan, Pakistan. They're predominantly all Muslim, and they have had to flee their country due to some type of civil unrest. And I want to remind people, I want to tell you this, and I'm not going to go through it because there's no way I could. I'm not an educator on this. But what I appreciate, and I'm always thankful to be reminded of when I go through the training, we go through multiple trainings down there, but a refugee is not an immigrant. A refugee is legal. They're supposed to be here. They are not an illegal immigrant. Those are 2 different things. So refugees have gone through an extensive, lengthy, long governmental support process to be in this country.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yes.
Because that
Yes.
needs to be.
That needs to be said because there's you make these assumptions very quickly, especially when you see someone that does not look like you and they are of another faith. You're making, a lot of times, unfortunately, we're making an assumption and a judgment about them. And that is, they are supposed to be here. These refugees are supposed to be here. One of the little girls that I met the second to the last day we were there, we did different ministries in the morning. We would go to different ministries, learn and serve alongside them. And I'll tell you just some cool stuff about a couple of them. But then the afternoons were always spent in an apartment complex. And the apartment complex ministry, the apartment complex has probably 2,000 people in it. And they are all refugees.
Can I ask a question about the location? So I read through the social media, the mobilization union, am I saying that right? Go check it out for pictures, by the way. The Instagram, fabulous recaps. But did it say it's a 5 acre?
Yes, square miles.
Wow.
I know, it's very condensed.
Is it one continuous building?
No,
or multiple build. Because I thought, did they take in a warehouse?
It's just a town. It is just a town. Clarkston is a town. They have all the things that you would imagine a small town to have.
Okay,
it's just in a very small amount of space.
So multiple buildings.
Yeah, it's just a regular apartment complex like you would see here, just like Cherry Grove.
Okay,
that's right across the street from us. So it's an apartment complex.
But like when you go to the food court and International Food, is that in a separate? Is it like a
that's
restaurant?
In a little different area of town.
Okay, gotcha.
But everything is just like
centrally located.
Yeah, it's just right outside of Atlanta. And so
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just trying to get this in my head.
It's just a small town that is everyone that lives there and has business there are refugees.
What do they do all day?
So the men will work.
Okay.
And the kids go to school. And
is
the
it
moms,
something like specific to them, like they work within their little
they can, because they're legal citizens. They can work anywhere.
And then the school, is it
they go to a regular school.
Okay.
So there's in a regular school with
integrated with the world around them.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, because they have paperwork and documentation that they're legal to work, they have a Social Security card, so the dads can get a job. And the moms are staying home and the kids go to school.
Gotcha. So
when the kids get home in the afternoon, we are getting them when they're coming off the bus. And so we have this ministry that Samuel Rye, he started because he himself was a refugee and he lived in a refugee camp for 15 years. Oh. That goes to show you how long the process can be, and it's not a quick transition from the country that you're fleeing to America. It just takes a long time. So he lived in a camp for 15 years. So when he came to America, that transition was hard. He didn't adjust very well. But once he came to know the Lord and began to turn his life around and got married and started to move forward in his life, he wanted to, and he now works for Send Relief. Send Relief is the partner that we work with in Clarkston, and they are under the North American Mission Board. So a lot of you all know the International Mission Board, the IMB. Well, there's also a North America Mission Board. And so Send Relief is an arm of NAM, the North American Mission Board. So Sam works for Send Relief in this ministry, and he just wanted to step into his people and to offer them, the kids, a place to go and play and have gospel conversations and just develop a safe community where hopefully people that are practicing Muslims can come to know the Lord. And so so there's this little girl there.
Is she the one that braided your hair?
Braiding was a big deal, and we had
when
every
Fran
day.
as a boy mom, had somebody braiding her hair.
Yeah, it was heaven.
When I saw a picture of that,
it was so sweet.
I thought, they are ministering to you as much as you're ministering to them.
They love to braid hair. They love to braid hair, and there would
play with my hair, and you got me.
Yeah,
that is it.
Yeah. So there would be like 5 of us girls sitting on the sidewalk, and they would just take turns, and it was so precious and just sweet conversations. But one of the girls, that I met. I'm not. We don't share their pictures and we don't share their names or anything like that. But this sweet little girl that I met halfway through the trip, she had been in the U.S. for 1 month, and she's in the 3rd or 4th grade. So she's only been in the U.S. for 1 month. She's from Afghanistan, and to hear her talk about home and her country is very heartbreaking. She can speak English. She picked up English so fast, but for her to read it and write it is really difficult. Typically, the mom is not going to speak English. The dad might speak English because of work and stuff. But anyway.
Is it heartbreaking in the sense of being how bad it was there, or that
yes,
she's homesick, or all
of the above?
Oh, my goodness.
If we go through a refugee simulation loss, that is, it's horrible.
Well, I think about how much
horrible.
I enjoyed going to St. Lucia, but if you pulled me out of America and said you're going to live in
well,
this
it's more
far away,
than that.
they've lost
like say,
everything.
For example, one of the simulations that we go through as a mom is, so if you have 2 children away at school and you have the youngest one at home with you and dad is at work, and then somebody comes into your home and tells you that these people are coming in and they're taking over the community, the village, and they're killing everybody, and you have to decide, do I go to try to save my children? Do I leave the child behind to go try to save? What if I go try to save my children and I can't save them, and then something happens to the little one and it's a lose-lose situation? So the decisions that are having to be made very quickly, what possessions do you take? And that involves people as well as material things that you're having to decide in a split second, and you're running to a place that you don't even know where you're going. It's just like an organized fleeing because the crazy mad people have come in and they're taking over your village.
My brain does not have a category
awful.
To even
it's awful.
Process that.
It's absolutely awful. It's not a, hey, let's go to America. It's traumatic.
They're running for their lives.
There is
They're
severe
grieving.
trauma in these children and parents' lives. It's absolutely heartbreaking. So for her to tell me that she'd only been here a month.
Who was with her?
She has her mom and her dad,
okay.
But I don't know about siblings. I didn't see siblings, but she talked about siblings, so I don't know if they were left behind. Most, if not all, of her extended family will be left behind in Afghanistan. And there's also a lot of refugees from Ukraine here now as well. So we were doing a food delivery to some apartments, and I asked her, she was real huggy and affectionate towards me, to have not known me and didn't know really about this after school ministry. She just clung to me. And I asked her if we could take the food to her parents, and she said yes. Keep in mind, it's also Ramadan. Ramadan had just started. They fast. If you're a practicing Muslim, you fast from typically sun up to sundown. So there's no food or water for the entire day. And then they break their fast at sundown, and they have this big celebration and all the food. And it's this whole thing. And so she was not fasting. But lots of the girls, 3rd and 4th grade, can be common to start fasting. The parents can decide. It also depends on possibly the area that you grew up in, like what age they think is appropriate. But one of the 4th grade girls that I became really, I don't want to say friends, but I just spent time with and close to, this was her 3rd year, and she was only in the 4th grade. So she's been practicing Ramadan for 3 years. But anyway, so we're very well aware that it's Ramadan. So nobody's like having their water and their food out, because that would just be completely disrespectful. But so I take the food to her house. And so her mom, she asked her mom if me and another student who happened to be there with Fellowship Bible Church, who also goes to Union, 2 different trips, Monia was with me. And she said, Mom, can they come in? And so yes, we step in. It was so clean. You take your shoes off when you go into their home, and we take our shoes off. Afghans, when they don't have like couches and chairs, they just have the big like cushions and things that you would sit on. They're used to sitting on the floor. That's what they do. So we go in. The house is so clean. It's so nice. And the mom doesn't speak any English. The dad is there. He introduces himself. I think he understands English, but doesn't speak a lot of English. His name, he tells us his name. The mom tells us her name. And you can tell she's cooking, preparing for their dinner when they'll break their fast at sunset. And the mom wanted to know if we wanted to have a sweet treat. And we said, sure. And I have been taught and trained that that's okay. Even though they're fasting, it's okay to accept that. So Monia and I sit down. She gets a plate. She cuts 4 squares of what looks like a cake. It's really, I don't have anything to compare it to that we would eat. It's kind of like a cake. It's thin. It's really sweet. It was delicious. She cut 4 pieces, gave us each a fork. We ate it. And then the daughter, the little girl, is translating everything that we're saying for us. And then I asked, I said, can we pray for you all before we go? And these are opportunities where you're put outside of your comfort zone. You're put outside of your comfort zone because you're stepping into a Muslim home, into a Muslim culture. And
while they're actively fasting, religion.
And then to ask to pray.
Oh, Fran.
And so I asked the little girl if that would be okay. And I was specifically looking at the dad, and he said yes.
How do they feel about women praying?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know. But I prayed.
Well, I've done that.
And I've done that before with another female, but
I'm proud of you. What boldness.
Well, it's what we do, y'all.
Well, I know.
It's what we do. It's what we should be doing.
What we're called to do.
And so you choose your words a little carefully in the prayer, but I just asked for God's protection and his favor, and that he would work out in their life all the things that needed to be worked out for their good and his glory, and that he would just grow them up into the people that he called them to be. And I didn't pray in Jesus' name, but the Lord knows. They believe in Jesus.
Who we're praying to.
Well, they believe in Jesus. Jesus was just a prophet.
That's right.
And so he is not the Savior. He's not the Son of God. He's just a prophet, just like other religions believe that. But anyway, so walked out of there, and it's just like they've been here for a month. They've been here for a month. Oh my gosh. But anyway, that was a significant moment. And then there was lots of little girls around the 3rd and 4th grade that are very impressionable. And little girls are little girls, no matter what the culture is. They kind of individually, they're better. Collectively, they can be mean as snakes. But there was one little girl that...
Does her name start with a G? I had put her in my outline. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I told her, I just said, listen, and I just told her to her face, I just said, listen, the Lord has really good plans for your life. I can see that you are sweet and kind and gentle and all these things. And, you're a helper. And I believe the Lord will grow that in you as you age. And I just told her lots of times that I loved her and that I was praying for her. And
how did she receive that?
They just smile. They just smile. But then a lot of times you'll have a child that is, they're not receptive to that at all. But anyway, it's just Clarkston and the refugee community. It's at another level because we don't have gospel conversations, and we don't share the gospel, and we don't step into uncomfortable conversations here in America, here in Jackson, here in Union, here at our work. Like, we just don't do it. So it's especially hard there because you are definitely a minority, and they'll ask you, like, are you a Christian? Yes. What do you believe? And so we would have conversations. The older girls would go to, like how we would have Bible study in the afternoon. Like one afternoon they would go to Quran study. So there's very much similarities. It's just clearly we believe 2 different things. But
I was fascinated by the worship that started the day. And I assumed incorrectly.
Well, that's a different place. Yes, that was a ministry place that we went to. I'll tell you all this really quick, and then we're going to...
Because I thought it was a church, but
no,
it wasn't.
Renew World Outreach, y'all. If you have anybody, a student that is innovative in any way, engineers, anything, computer science, you need to have an internship with Renew World Outreach, or you need to go work for them. These are all people that have graduated from Georgia Tech. They are brilliant young people, and they are creating equipment to take the gospel to literally unreached people groups that people cannot get to and go to. They are using audio Bibles. They're using film to show the Jesus film or the Jesus Project. Their goal is that wherever, if you go into the depths of X land that nobody's been to, that they can have the Bible in their language. And it's just fascinating what they've done. They showed, I don't want to call it wrong, but it'd be like the size of a flashlight, and it would have the Bible on it. And in the Ukraine, this lady had it around her neck. And when fighting had broke out, a bullet had, I don't know that she was being shot at, but this piece of equipment that holds scripture in it, that is undetectable. So it's undetectable. That bullet went right into that audio
oh my goodness
Bible, and they have it on their display. I'll show a picture of that to you all in stories, but saved her life. But so what they do every single day, y'all, can you imagine? I understand this is a Christian organization and a Christian workplace and a Christian ministry, but can you even imagine? Every day they start off their day from 8:30 to 9:30 in worship. That is what they do. And it is prayer, it is song, it is speaking over people, it is calling out things over people. It is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's one of my favorite places. They are so hospitable. Nobody acts like, oh, gosh, I've got things to do. We've got to hurry up. Oh, dang, we've got more visitors here. Like, it's just incredible. It's beautiful. It's genuine. It's one of the most pure places of work and ministry that I've really ever seen. So Renew World Outreach, phenomenal place.
I love that.
Yeah.
What will you remember? What will you carry with you from this trip this year?
I think that at the end in our debrief, well, we debrief every night, but at the end of the week, as a leader and as somebody that's traveled a lot and done this many, many times, watching the girls go from completely scared to step into the culture, to have a conversation with a mom or a dad or a child, to at the end sitting with moms trying to learn and understand about each other without hesitation. Like, to watch them move from fear to courage to confidence is absolutely beautiful. And that is this particular group, I watched them wrestle that out. It was really, really fun. It was also hard, but really, really proud of them.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so that's our big spiritual section. Goodbye, everyone.
Well,
we're done now.
Have we got like 2 more minutes?
Let's go 1 more minute. On your marks, set, go.
Okay, because this is quick. But if you missed Gather 25, did you watch any of that?
I was able to watch some of it.
Okay, it's free. It's still live streaming. We'll put it in show notes.
Yes.
But it was the global church for 25 hours. It was leaders from all across the world.
Amazing.
Names you'll know. Jenny Allen organized the whole thing. That is something that you can go back and listen to, especially because it's the Lenten season now and leading up to Easter.
Yes.
And then you've talked about how much you love the Dwell app.
Yes.
There is now something called Dwell Differently.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that?
I've just heard them talk about it.
And I'm a sucker for a coupon.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a free month. So I did it and I love it. It's the only way I'll get a tattoo because I'm scared of paint.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a monthly tattoo membership.
Yeah.
I want to be more disciplined in memorizing scripture.
Yeah.
You've taught me the importance of that. We've talked about how Beth Moore has been so diligent in that and teaching that. And it's something that I've really
Let me tell you something. These college girls, they want the exact same thing. I cannot tell you how many conversations we had about knowing God's word and having it truly hidden in our heart.
Yes.
There's a hunger for that, regardless of your age.
Yes. So what this is, it's a tattoo that has the first letter of all the words in the verse. So when you glance at it just gives you, and I just put it on like the inside of my wrist. It's small, and they give you 4. So each week for a month.
That's awesome.
And then they give you a little thing you can print out and coloring sheets so you can unwind at night with it. But it's just a way to support what they're doing, get God's word in our hearts in another way. You may or may not be interested in that, but it's helping me. So I thought I would pass it along.
Well, let me say this. We'll close with this. To be a disciple of Christ, we talked about this with the girls a lot in this hurried culture, this hurried world that they've grown up in and that we are all a part of. Being a follower of Christ, being a true disciple of Christ, it's going to cost you something. It just is. And you have to figure out, what is my cost? And it's probably just wasted time that I'm not using for the Lord to study, to learn, to meditate, to memorize, to saturate our brains with, because we're just not. But it's going to cost us something. So
when I take a time inventory, like that seminar I told y'all about, where I'm actually thinking about where I'm spending my time, if my phone would just disappear, I would have 32 extra hours in a 24-hour day.
I know.
But I'm treating this extra hour of daylight.
Praise God.
It's time for me to stick my little AirPods in my ears or not, listen to the Bible or listen to a podcast or a preacher or just talk to the Lord,
or do your
don't
daily,
listen to anything at all.
If you do the Bible app, that whole daily thing, do it again at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, do it multiple times when you're in the car. Listen to that video again and again and again.
We don't listen to it one time and then we're done with it.
Right.
But just a little something. Don't let this overwhelm you.
Yeah.
It's for our good.
But it should also hurt a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because it's costing us something.
Yes.
To be uncomfortable.
It shouldn't be easy.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't be easy. Okay, y'all are amazing.
Get your strawberry lemon water. It's amazing. I'm over here drinking mine now. The strawberries will get stuck in your straw, but it's okay.
Just keep sucking the
Keep on
strawberries.
going.
All right, you guys, we love you so very much. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you next time. All right, you guys, remember Proverbs 16:24 says, "Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones." I don't know about you, but I believe that the world and all the people around you could really use more kind, gracious words, because they are sweet and they are healing. All right, have a great week, you guys. We'll see you next time.